go.
Let's go. I'm going live right now. What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. Second best MLB day of the week, if you ask me. Second to Friday. If you have a YouTube account and you bet on sports, you already know who the dude all the way to my left, your right, Austin from Calling Our Shot. Thanks for joining us. So we go through every single game, but we pass on a bunch. So if there's games you don't have a lean on, there's no shame in passing.
All right, yeah, let's do it. Let's give out some winners.
Hell yeah.
That's what we're here for.
That is. First game, Texas at Detroit. We like the Tigers here, as I said last night. Put it up on the screen. Detroit, money line plus 110. It's down to. Line's moving in the right direction for us. You can see in the bottom right, sharp action is in on Detroit. And the line moves the right way, which is always good to see. Basically, no new angles here. Same thing I said last night. Martin Perez, a lot less reliable on the road. Also, he's got bad career numbers in Detroit. He's made 6 career starts in Detroit. He's 0-4 with a 6.83 ERA. Dude just hates this ballpark. Cannot get outs in this ballpark. So just the fact that Texas is favored in a situation like that is a little scary. Even worse, the Rangers' bats seem to be cooling a bit on the road as well. In the last 30 days, just 20th in WRC plus on the road. And in the fact that Alex Faedo is actually kind of dealing. He was absolutely dominant in his last start. 6 innings pitched, just 3 hits, no walks. It sounds crazy, but I think Faedo might put together a good start against this Rangers lineup. And then you add in the last fact that the Tigers bullpen has dramatically outperformed the Rangers bullpen in the last 30 days. I'm taking it. It's a little bit of a public dog, but I'm on the Tigers. It's at plus 110. I got it at.
Yeah, so for this one, I definitely like the Tigers, so definitely put me down for that one. But my favorite play for this game is Alex Faedo over 4.5 Ks. I know what you're thinking. Alex Faedo. If you remember the end of last year, the guy was pretty dreadful. But I'm going to give him his flowers this year. Through 2 home starts, he's owning a godly 17.1 K to BB ratio, and he's recorded 7 and 10 Ks in those starts. That's good for a 36.4 K to BB percentage. And Faedo's been much better with Ks at home going back to 2022. In his last 7 home starts, Faedo's 5-2 to the over, averaging 5.6. Lone 2 misses came against the Cleveland Guardians. If you know the Guardians, going back to last year, they are K under machines, very disciplined bats. And I don't really think that applies to the Texas Rangers right now. Rangers have never seen his stuff. And on top of that, the last 11 of 14 righties to face him have gone over their K, averaging 6.3. 10 of those guys had 5+ Ks. Rangers sit 21st in K percentage against righties on the road over the last 30 days and 20th on the season. I think it should be priced more near minus 140. So at minus 105 that it's being offered in some books, I really like the value.
Austin, you have a play for this one?
You know, I didn't give out a play in our normal video, but a guy I really liked was Riley Green today. Now, I don't love taking over 1.5 bases, but if you were to go for it, it's like plus 145. I saw him bet 365. Now, Green is obviously, the Tigers are going to have to score to win for you guys, and he's been really, really good this season, hitting lefties well, hitting righties well, and hitting really well at home. 343 batting average at home. I don't think Perez, he might walk a couple guys here and there, but Riley Green, not a big walker. And so this might be a homer pick. It is noted that Riley Green did go to my high school. So I think he's had a good day. I actually was considering him I normally do a 2-leg hit parlay. He almost made the cut. So I think he gets at least 1 hit. Always the 2+ bases is tough, but I think he gets at least 1. I think that's a stretch for 2, but plus 140, I think is a very good odds for him. So Riley Green, I like your guys' picks too, but I think Riley Green has a good day.
I can vouch for the fact that I've lost so many over 1.5 total bases bets when the guy goes 1 for 4 with a single.
I can't do it anymore, but but I think he has a good day. I don't mind that one.
All right, let's move on to game number 2. Padres at Marlins, and last night I was on the Marlins. I woke up. I like them even more now. Everyone's betting the Padres here. You can get this at minus 135. If you watch this channel, you know I'm not the biggest fan of taking minus 135, minus 140 favorites. I don't do it often, but I feel like this is a great spot to do it. Say what you want about Sandy Alcantara this season, but this is his spot. He loves those Miami nights at home in night games. So even he's having a brutal season. Everybody knows that. Everyone's talking about it. But still, in his 2 starts at home at night, he's got a 1.80 ERA and allowing just a 250 WOBA and a 0.93 WHIP. So he's still handling his business at home in Miami. I'm telling you, he loves the Miami Knights. Facing a Padres lineup that just really doesn't scare anybody. San Diego just 20th in WRC plus versus righties over the last 2 weeks, 23rd over the last 30 days. And this is actually, Prop Beaver actually got me this stat. 82 career at bats the Padres have against Sandy Alcantara, just a 592 OPS and 2 home runs. Both home runs came from Soto. So actually, if you take Soto out, the rest of the Padres lineup, lifetime, is batting just 122 with a 517 OPS through 49 at-bats against Sandy. So I think this is a great price for Sandy in a spot that we love to back him at home and at night.
Yeah, I mean, I like the bounce back spot for Sandy here. I mean, going back to last season, we were very, very high on Sandy before he started his Cy Young reign. Then he just kept proving it every single time he was out there. This season's been far different. The numbers are quite bad in terms of Sandy Alcantara standards, but I like the hope that's coming from him after that great start against the Colorado Rockies. Last 2 times he was at Coors, he got absolutely shelled. Rockies lineups have been hot lately, and he went out there and dealt. He's facing the kings of leaving guys on base, and I really think that as long as the Padres don't hit him hard, they're going to have a really tough time scoring runs on him. On the other side is Ryan Weathers, who I will say he really started the season off well, not going to take anything away from him, but then he got sent down to the minors. His xFIP and his FIP in the minors were both above 5, and then when he came back from the minors through 11.2 innings of work, Weathers allowed 9 runs through, as I said, 11 innings of work, which isn't great, and his xFIP during that span is a fat 6.24. Miami Marlins last year were horrendous against lefties. This year, they're actually pretty good against them. 7th over the last 2 weeks, 10th over the last 30 days. So I see them having success against Weathers. And then when it really comes to the bullpens, I think that these 2 bullpens perform at a high level. But if you know the Marlins and you've watched some of their games this year, they tend to not score too many runs through the first 5 and then smash those bullpens in late innings. I can see that happening here. And ultimately, if Sandy pitches like we think he will pitch today, then this should be priced more near minus 160, minus 170, not minus 135. So I just think there's tons of value on the Marlins here. Love the fish today.
Yeah, this is a straight pass for me personally. I don't like taking the Marlins juice. They're a team that I've never had a good read on. I feel like they never win when Alcantara's on the mound, and then when they got their trash starters out there is when their offense shows up. So I prefer pass. If this was closer to like minus 120, I probably would be in. But and then on the other side, I can't trust the Padres either. It's 2 teams that I never have a good read on. You never know which offense is showing up. So I'd rather pass it. I'll root for the fish for you guys, but it's just a pass from me.
We appreciate it. Let's move on to the next one. Cleveland at Baltimore. Last night on YouTube, I said I like the under, and I still do, and I'm betting it, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. Last night it was at 8.5. It actually got as high as 9.5, and it's back at 9 now. Because it's not one of my favorite bets, I'll read through my notes real quick. I'll do like a Spark Notes version. So I truly just can't trust Baltimore's bats right now. Their last 5 games, 0 runs, 3, 3, 2, 3. Lefties, righties, doesn't matter. Cody Bradford pitched a good game against them. Andrew Heaney, who had terrible career numbers against them, he blanked them. Logan Allen. I mean, Baltimore's bats just seem to have died suddenly. And look, I know Cal Quantrill's trending downwards a bit. White Sox just hit him up. Angels just hit him up. But overall, he's having a pretty okay season, and he has good career numbers against Baltimore. So, his last 2 starts against Baltimore, I have his numbers down here. 10 innings pitched, 1.80 ERA, and a 0.70 WHIP. So he's had back-to-back good starts against the Orioles. And on the other side, Kyle Gibson, all of a sudden looking like an all-star. Back-to-back gems, 7 innings, 1 run in in Toronto, 7 innings, no runs in Yankee Stadium. He's dealing, and he's back at home where historically, over the course of his career, he's been better. So I just think both starting pitchers have good outings. I originally went with I said first 5 under 4.5, I think, last night, but now I was looking at Cleveland's bullpen numbers, and I think I'll go full game at 9. But like I said, not one of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love this game at all, but I would be on the same page there. I just think it feels too easy. I mean, yeah, Cal Quantrill may not be the best pitcher in the world, but the Orioles' bats these last 5 days are truly looking atrocious. Add in the great history that he has against them, and I mean, I think that as long as he has an outing where he allows 3 or less runs, this should look in pretty good shape because, I mean, the Cleveland Bats just simply can't hit anything. Yes, they looked a little more lively last night, but an offensive explosion for them is 4 or 5 runs. This total's at 9, with 2 top 10 bullpens on the year coming into this game. And the fact that Cedric Mullins is out, who I think is a very key piece to this Baltimore lineup, I would definitely take it at the low vig. I know a lot of people are on the over today. Both bets and money are leaning towards the over. So to play a somehow sharp under that feels easy, I guess that would have to be my play. But it's either the under or the pass. Not too passionate about this one.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm in the same boat as you, Prop Beaver. I like the under or a pass in this spot for the same kind of reasons that Kyle talked about. I think these two bullpens very good, and also I just don't trust the Guardians bats or the Orioles bats, especially with Mullins out. And then you look at the Guardians yesterday. Sure, they put up 5 runs, but 2 of them came off of basically a catcher error. I don't know if it was ruled as an error or not, but they threw it home. They would have beat the guy, but he dropped it, which led to 2 runs scored. So I don't trust the Guardians to score. I think if you're going to hit Gibson, you got to hit him hard. And this is not a Guardians team that really feels like they, hit home runs. It's a team that's like death by 1,000 paper cuts, if you will. And I just don't think Gibson give up, 10 hits if that's the case. So I'd rather go to the under if I had to pick anything here.
Seems like we're all on the exact same page on this one. Under, but we don't love it. So let's move on to the next one. Milwaukee at Toronto, and I agree with Prop Beaver's pick. I'm going to let him sell you on it because it was his pick, and he has some good reasoning. So I know you liked the under or the first 5 under. Which one?
Nah, we made an audible here. We didn't wind up putting this on the ticket. I was getting sussed out by the high-ass total. I wanted to take the under 5.5 through the first 5 here. But, I mean, that line is super, super high. My spidey sensors are tingling. Something tells me something's off. And as bad as the Jays' bats have been, I'm just not an Adrian Hauser guy. To put it bluntly, I think he's mids. For previous points in his career, just haven't seen this dominant of a pitcher that he's looked over his last 2 starts. And it's not like his first 2 starts were great either. He really struggled in those. Blue Jays bats are definitely struggling, but I believe in them 20 times more than Milwaukee. So my favorite pick for this game would have to be Kikuchi over 5.5 Ks. I believe you get that around -120, -125 right now. And I just like it as a buy low spot. He's gone under his last 4 or 5 games, averaging just 4 Ks a game, and I want to back him to get 6. So why? Well, because if you have a pulse and you throw with your left hands, I like your chances to hit your total against the Milwaukee Brewers. Kikuchi, I feel, is extremely undervalued due to those tough competition during this 5-game span. He faced the Rays, the Orioles, the Braves, the Pirates, and the Red Sox. 4 of those teams are in the top 10 to WRC plus against lefties, while 3 of them sit top 10 in K percentage against lefties. He now faces the Brewers, who sit 30th in both K percentage and WRC plus against lefties on the season. And of the 15 true starting lefties to face Milwaukee, that's going to exclude bullpen openers. 12 of them hit 6+ Ks, averaging 6.8. Kikuchi's been drastically better at home with the K stuff this season. At home, he's 3-1, averaging 6.8 per game, and he's consistently thrown 80+ pitches this season, which to me is key because at home with 80+ pitches going back to last season, the guy's 6-3 to the over, averaging 6.2. So lots of leans to the over. Very small sample size against Kikuchi, so the Brewers bats have barely seen him, not familiar with his arsenal, and they own a 35 K percentage through those 17 at bats. If there wasn't such a recent turnover in the Brewers lineup due to Adama's injury and the cut of Void, 60 K percentage against lefties, this would be a full unit play for me. I posted this on Twitter, but I think it's 0.75 units. I think it has a fair amount of value.
I'll go next. I kind of like, and I didn't make this an official play, but I might play it. It's going to be the Blue Jays team total over 4.5. I think when you get this like 9.5 total, you're going to need some production from someone. And as you talked about, they really are struggling versus lefties, the Brewers, that is. So I think the Blue Jays bats show up here. Adrian Hauser, obviously you see his 2.25 ERA, looks great. Hasn't been as good on the road. This is the guy that last year had over 6 ERA on the road, was really struggling. So I think there's a good chance Hauser gets hit up here. It's the Blue Jays team that I'd rather take against a righty like a guy like Hauser. Also, Hauser, a big ground ball guy. That's what the Blue Jays are going to have to avoid today. If you can hit him hard, get those extra base hits, really pile up that. I think that's what this Blue Jays team is really good at. So I lean the over for the Blue Jays on the over 4.5 team total. I think they can get that pretty easily.
Sorry, guys. My dumbass just muted the sound, not my mic. I apologize.
And to answer your question, your mic was fine until, like, for some reason, the last, 2 sentences of what you said started breaking up. But you were good. People heard you.
All right.
So let's move to the next one. Phillies at Mets. This is a hard pass for me. I mean, you know what? Last night on YouTube, I said Mets are pass. Actually, I'd probably say Phillies are pass here, but it's just a pass. There's a couple things that throw me off. One, the Mets owned the Phillies last year, right? So I want to back the Mets, but I don't trust Kodai Senga at all. Certainly don't trust the Mets bats against lefties. And then Ranger Suarez, he had 2 starts against the Phillies last year. One of them, he pitched like 7 scoreless innings, allowed 2 or 3 hits, and the other one he got pulled in the 3rd inning for getting rocked. So I have no feel for this one at all. I'm just passing.
I had 2 bets on this one. One of them got ultimately juiced out. I had Ranger Suarez under 4.5 Ks at -140, but that's now at like -165, -170 on some books. So I'm not going to give that out to you guys. I like the first 5 under 4.5 here quite a bit at -105. The Phillies bats are just struggling lately. We saw a bit of a sign of life in the first game of that series, but overall, these bats are just 20th in WRC plus against righties over the last 2 weeks. Not great. Now they have to head to New York and face Kodai Senga, who on the road, he's an atrocity. I'll give you that. But he's been excellent at home. There's no denying that. 1.57 ERA, 2.48 WOBA. And on the road, his main issue is allowing that hard contact. At home, he just has a 0.39 home run per 9. That's drastically better than their road stuff. And I also think the fact that Philly has never seen him and they've struggled to put up runs against Morton and Strider, who have similarly nasty whiff stuff, I think the Senga can heal here. On the other side is Ranger Suarez. This is the scary part of the bet. There's no denying that. He's been pretty awful thus far. 9.82 ERA through 3 starts. But his 3.16 expected FIP indicates some major positive regression coming around the corner. Now he gets to pitch in his best spot on the road, going back to 2022. Adding that the Mets have been far worse against lefties all year, and their career 213 average and 613 OPS through 47 at-bats for Suarez is kind of weak. I'm not all that encouraged by the Mets offense popping off here. That's especially the case coming off a series at Coors where the bats tend to come out flat in the next game, at least the first game of their next destination. As Kyle just said, Suarez came to New York last year and dealt 7 innings of 1-run ball. So at the low vig with the bad weather, I like the under here in the first 5.
Yeah, I'm right on the same boat with you. This was one of our 3 picks this morning, was the first 5 under 4.5. It was plus 100. I see the lines kind of moving more towards -105, -110. And for all the same reasons, Senga been really, really good at home. I'm expecting him to continue that, hopefully. And also Bryce Harper out of the lineup today. Not something we expected, but obviously nice to not have Harper in there. And then, yeah, you're talking about Ranger Suarez. Is a guy that has struggled. Now, you're looking at a guy with a near 10 ERA, and you're telling me, take an under? Yeah, I mean, this is a guy with an ERA at a 4.86. So with some regression, like you talked about, is on the way. And I don't trust this Mets offense. This is the offense that could go up against me throwing out there, and there's no guarantee they put up runs. So I think Suarez had a good ERA, like you said, kind of a mixed bag of results, but also worth noting terrible weather in New York for this game. So I like it. I think this is a good spot for the under 4.5. I think you either see maybe 2-3 runs or you see like 7 or 8. But I'm hoping that it's the 2 or 3 on the first side.
I mean, that sounded like some pretty sound logic from you guys. I'm down to I'll throw a few schmeckles on it. I'm down to tail. Let's go to the next game. Reds at Boston. So we like the Reds. We both like the Reds here. Let me scroll down in my notes. It dropped to -155. Plus 155. I believe. Price is a little sketchy. Not gonna lie, because if you just look, in the last 7 games, Cincinnati's 5-2, averaging 6.7 runs a game. Boston's 2-5, averaging 2.1 runs a game. And one of these teams is laying minus 200 juice. It's a little crazy to look at. So right there, before I even started, I felt like I was getting trapped onto Cincinnati a little bit. But where I found a little bit of a sharp angle, in my opinion, is I know everyone's probably looking at this thinking Bello has the significant starting pitching edge over Ben Lively, but I'm not so sure about that. Ben Lively's been pitching well. He's got a 2.65 ERA and a 0.88 WHIP through 4 appearances. Both of his starts were great. He's got 2 starts and 2 appearances out of the bullpen, and both of his starts were great against the Yankees and Cardinals. And those games were at home in Great American Ballpark, where we know how tough it is to pitch there. Now he's pitching in Boston, a little bit more of a pitcher-friendly environment, and he's facing a Red Sox lineup that's just 26th in WRC plus versus right-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks, 28th in the last 7 days. Kind of similar to the Cardinals, it seems like the Red Sox bats have just suddenly died. So at this price, I feel like I got to do it. I got to take the Reds. It's not one of my top bets or anything. The reason I don't love it is because I feel like the decision was made for me with the price, and I hate that feeling when it's like, oh, I have to bet the Reds at this price. But I don't know. I definitely wouldn't bet Boston. I'll take a shot with Cincinnati. It won't be a huge bet.
Yeah, I don't love it as much as I did last night, but definitely on the same page. The one thing that kind of turned me off, if you've been following my Twitter recently, I've been fading Boston in the K department because to start the season, I mean, on the season, they're 5th in K percentage against righties, which is fantastic. But over the last 2 weeks, they're 20th or 21st in K percentage against righties. And with them setting the total so low and that K percentage increasing, it just creates a lot of value. The last 8 and 9 righties to face Boston have gone over. Lively just had 8 and 8 Ks. His total is at 3.5 over at plus money. Oh, that's about as suspect as it gets. So that definitely weirds me out. But maybe Lively doesn't strike him out, but he deals anyways. I do believe that he's been quite good. Those last 2 starts impressed me more so because of the state the lineups were in heading in. Cardinals lineup was red hot entering that game. He shut them down. Yankees lineup, same thing. Red hot entering that game. He shuts them down. Red Sox lineup is dead. I mean, maybe the inverse will happen and all of a sudden he'll get lit up. But from a pure value standpoint, there's no way I'm passing up on the Reds here. I think the bullpens are also very similar too, which gives me an edge towards the Reds.
Yeah, but this is either a pass or taking the full game over. I think that this Red Sox team, obviously their numbers the last couple weeks, not great. But this is their first game back at home where we know if you were to just look at their home away splits, this is a team absolutely crushing things at home. So I think this is a game where we see Lively give up some runs too. I think that earned run average is going to be a little bit higher than 2.65 by the end of this one. And I also think Bayo is just not a guy I necessarily trust a whole lot. It's really struggled versus lefties this year. He's a guy that's capable of going out there and giving you a 1-2 earned run type outing, but also like a 6 earned run in 3 innings kind of thing. So I think this Reds team is pretty good on the road. I think the Boston bats heat up. So if I had to bet anything, it would be the over, but I'll root for the Reds for you guys. I'm on Spencer Steer to get a hit today in my hit parlay, so hopefully he helps you out.
I will say, I mean, the high total, I do like that because if you're just like the public better, just checks the ERAs. Lively's dealing. Bella's last 4 starts have been excellent. A lot of people should be looking towards that under, but the high total at 10, I definitely like that. Pretty sure.
Is it Bayo? I've been saying Bello on YouTube for a year.
I don't know.
I gotta be honest.
I
We
can't
normally look him up. I don't think we ever ventured into looking that guy's name up.
Right.
I figured I'd say the other way. This just 100% right, 50% right.
All right. Yeah, I mean, as soon as he said Bayo, I looked at it and I was like, shit, it might be Bayo. I don't know. I always watch these games with the sound off. So. All right. Next game. We got KC at Cardinals. And what St. Louis did to me on Sunday, that's just like one of those unforgivable acts. I was on YouTube like, this team will score runs. They're playing against the Royals bullpen, and they got shut out. In fact, they had like a perfect game going. Cardinals are dead to me. I'm passing on this game. I won't back Greinke on the road, but I just can't even look at the St. Louis Cardinals logo right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm dealing with the same level of disgust for the Cardinals. They're just so streaky. Start off the year horrendous, then they heat up, can't stop winning games. Now these last 5 games, they just look really, really bad in pretty much every single phase of the game. So I have zero interest in passing them, but you probably heard me on the stream a million times. Back Zach Greinke at home, fade him on the road. I can't fade him here because the Cardinals are that putrid, but pass.
Yeah, I mean, let's make it 3 in a row. I'm passing here too. I can't trust any of either of these two teams. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals put up 10 runs just to shove it in your face, Kyle. But I can't trust either of these two teams. I mean, you're right. Is it Greinke on the road is a real thing? It's been a little bit better this year, but yeah, pass. Count me out. I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, I think there is an echo coming through your mic, Austin. By the way.
Is there? I'll try to fix it.
When we're talking, I think our voice is coming through your speakers and back in. I think that's what's happening. But yeah, that's exactly why. Because I want to bet the Royals, but I can't because I can 100% see the Cardinals just showing up. I don't hear it anymore, so I think you just fixed it, by the way. And I can 100% see the Cardinals actually showing up and just rocking Greinke. So
Anthony Phillips, fucking relax, Chief. Going all comments like there. Who are you talking to?
All right, let's move on to the next one. Rays at Cubs, and I'm going back to the Cubbies. They paid us out last night. We're going right back, plus 165. Actually, it's down to plus 160 now, so let me fix that. Plus 160. I know this one sounds crazy, but hear me out in case you didn't watch YouTube last night. So, all right, I like Cubs again. We had Cubs. They won 1-0 yesterday, going right back to them. So there's no question that the Tampa Bay Rays are dominant at home. But did you know that they're just 3-7 in their last 10 road games? And get this, they've played 11 road games this season against right-handed starters. They've only managed to score 2 runs or more than 2 runs off those starters twice out of those 11 games. It's not being talked about because they have the best record in baseball. But the Rays on the road against right-handed starters is a bit of a flat spot for them. And also, like I said last night, I think we're getting Kyle Hendricks at a decent value right now. Look, I'm not going to sit here and try to sell you that Kyle Hendricks can be trusted in all this, but he was injured, came back, made his first start of the season, got shelled, looked terrible. This might be an ultimate buy low situation for Kyle Hendricks. And again, the Rays continued to struggle against right-handed starters on the road. So maybe Kyle Hendricks throws a good game tonight. And then on the other side, I went through these the opponents of Shane McClanahan so far this year. I won't read them all off again, but basically in his 11 starts, he's only had 2 against top 10 offenses versus left-handed pitching and none in the top 5. Cubs are 4th. So as far as offensive production versus left-handed pitching, this will be McClanahan's biggest test of the season. Cubs are 4th in WRC plus against lefties on the season. And the last 6 left-handed starters to face them, 26 in the third innings pitched, 8.20 ERA, 1.82 whip, and a 1.4 home runs per 9. I'm aware that of those 6 lefty starters, none of them are as dominant as Shane Mack, but the fact remains that Cubs continue to eat off left-handed starters. I know, and then the other thing that's going to scare people off is the Cubs bullpen, and I'm not going to argue with you there. It's been bad, but the Rays bullpen's been even worse analytically. In fact, over the last month, the Cubs bullpen has better numbers than the Rays bullpen. So at that juicy price of plus 160, let everyone bet Tampa. Go ahead. I'm going back to the Cubs.
Yeah, apparently we sound terrible, which I don't know. I've been muting my mic and everything religiously, whatever. I don't really have much to add to your thing. You pretty much said everything I wanted to encapsulate. Playing it sharp here. Cubby up.
Those comments are old.
Do you mute?
Yeah, I'm gonna mute myself while I don't talk, but I'm in the same situation. I'm gonna pass on this game. I think McClanahan is gonna come out here, pitch all right. I lean the under, but I just don't. You never really know the Rays. If you take an under with them, that as Kyle probably can attest on Sunday, they can drop 10 runs on your head. So I'll avoid this game. I don't really want to touch it. I'll just pass. Hopefully the Cubs win for you.
All right. I love the Cubs. And if they lost last night, I would be like, this is my bet of the day. The fact that they snuck a 1-0 win definitely scares me a little, but let's move on to the next one. Angels at White Sox. So last night I gave, scroll down to my notes. I gave out first 5 under. The line actually moved the wrong way. This one's at first 5 under 5 now. And I'm sticking with it despite the line movement in the wrong direction there. I am a bit of a Tyler Anderson apologist. I've always liked him. And he's definitely showing signs of improvement. So here, listen to this. In his first 4 starts of the season, opponent's batting average 317, 7.20 ERA. In his last 5 starts, so since then, opponent's batting average 250, 3.14 ERA. So he's definitely pitching much better now than he was a month and a half ago to start the season. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that he's dominant, but he's been formidable. And if you don't believe the White Sox bats are back against lefties, which, I mean, we thought the White Sox were going to come out and hit. It was Eduardo Rodriguez in Detroit. And I was on YouTube saying, hey, the White Sox are hitting lefties again. We could trust this lineup against lefties like we could last year. Erod pitches a great game against them, and it was his first great game in 3 starts. The reason I'm going first 5 under instead of Angels at the plus price is I also am a bit of a Giolito apologist. 4 of his last 5 starts have been good. his lone bad start was on the road in Detroit. It was actually his last start, and he's got bad career numbers at Detroit, and another dude that just can't pitch in that ballpark for some reason. So I'm not going to let that one game distract me from the production we've seen from Giolito in his previous 4 starts. Another game where I think both starting pitchers do their jobs. So I'll take first 5 under 5.
Yeah, I mean, I have no interest in backing Giolito. I feel like pretty much every time we back the guy, he screws us sideways. And then every time we stay on the sidelines, he just pitches gem after gem. So, yeah, I'll just stay on the sideline for you, Kyle. Hopefully he pitches a gem for you today.
Yeah, I'm going to pass too, but I would like to say that this game will start out with no runs in the first inning. Yesterday, we took the no-run first inning in this one. There were like 5 runs scored. They're not scoring today. That's what always happens, that we never run it back, and it always hits the next day. But hopefully that gets you 4 more innings, so Kyle, to get your under 5. But I'll pass on this one full game.
Yeah, that, and you know what always happens to us? We play a lot of first 5s. The team we need always goes off in the 6th inning every single time. They just score 4 runs in the 6th when we only needed 1 in the 5th. How it goes down.
If they had baseball. First 6 bets, I'd bet them religiously. I would. I really.
Yeah, audio's good now, by the way. So we're all just, what we're doing is we're all just muting ourselves after we're done talking. That's probably a testament to me not really knowing how to use OBS software. I'm kind of winging it. So, next game. Oops, switch to 3 people. Here we go. So, Twins at Astros is next. This is one of those that I backed off from last night. I gave out the Twins on YouTube last night. We got priced out. It's up with the Twins' first 5 money line was at minus 124 when I uploaded the video last night. It's now at minus 145, minus 150. So I'm not even going to waste your time and go through it. I like the pitching matchup, Joe Ryan versus Belak, but at this price, it's a pass for me. So I got priced out.
Yeah, I mean, I think Belak's been incredibly lucky thus far. Just looking at some of his numbers, you see the 3.5 ERA, and you'd be like, wow, this guy's been really solid this season. But then you look into some of his other numbers, and it really starts to get dreadful. Let me pull him up real quick. So his 6.02 expected ERA is nearly 2.5 points higher than his actual one. His 5.7 FIP is bad, 2.13 home run allowed per 9, 1.54 whip. It doesn't even make sense that he has the 3.55 ERA. And then look at his competition. The A's 29th, Brewers 27th, White Sox 28th, Mariners 8th, and Giants 17th in WRC plus against righties over the last month. He faced all those guys in May. Ultimately, though, I can't get there because Joe Ryan doesn't have the best history against the Astros. Allowed 4+ runs both the last times he's faced them. I was looking at a Joe Ryan under K here, but his splits against righties are too good for me to pull the trigger on it. So I'd probably do the Minnesota first 5 run line or pass, but not passionate about this one.
Forgot to unmute myself. I don't really have a play here, but I will give out my man Logan's play. He gave out Kyle Tucker to hit a home run. Now that's about plus 420 or plus 430 or so. Hasn't hit a home run in about 8 or 9 games, but it's Dinger Tuesday. People are trying to take advantage of those. Joe Ryan hasn't thrown a home run in a couple of his recent starts, but he does throw hard. So if you can hit him, you can get normally extra base hits. I think Kyle Tucker has a chance to put one into the bleachers today. Everyone's going to be on the Yordan Alvarez's and of the other world on their Dinger Tuesday plays, but I think Tucker's a decent one for good value. So that's my man Logan's play. I'll give out his Dinger play of the day.
Kyle, do you think he has a case of the dew? You think Tucker's on the dew today?
He might be suffering from a severe case of dew. But I actually saw that in the notes that you emailed to me last night about Joe Ryan. He had your home run per 9 innings for the last 6 starts was 0.00. I was like, oh shit, 0 home runs. All right.
And Joe Ryan's due as well.
Yeah.
Fact. We watched that Giants start, and honestly, he wasn't that impressive. It's just the Giants had tons of hard hit balls. They just kept going right to the people though. So that was easy.
All right, let's cruise on to the next one. Let's hope Kyle Tucker hits one out for Austin's co-host. Oh, by the way, ask Logan if he's down to do some college football streams because I have nobody to do streams with. You know what? We'll talk after. We'll text after. So anyway, Rockies at Arizona. Last night I said pass, and it's still a pass, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't eyeing up the Rockies money line. I'll say Rockies are pass. Those Rockies bats just continue to surprise me. I can't even believe if we did a video before the season where we just went through like win totals and we basically all three of us agreed that the Rockies were going to be one of the worst teams in baseball. I cannot believe how this lineup continues to hit right-handed pitching, and it's not just in Coors Field either. So it's really just a value thing at plus 185 for a lineup that's been top 5, top 10 against right-handed pitching this whole season. I'm not giving it out. Bet that at your own risk. This is one of those where, depending on how the night's going, I might throw a few dollars down right before the game starts, but I wouldn't bet Arizona. Last night I said maybe Arizona or pass. I would say Rockies or pass now.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'd even possibly be looking at here is maybe like a Kyle Freeland under K's. Usually he's better at striking out guys on the road going back to last season, but he's only 2-2 this year. About to face an Arizona team that has been very, very disciplined at the plate, especially against lefties lately. And then on top of that, I believe in Freeland's last 5 visits to Arizona, he's 4-1 to the under, averaging around like 3 per game. It's that low for a reason. So that'd be my lean there, but that's not an official play for myself. So pass.
Yeah, one of our official plays was the Nerfy in this game. Rockies, Diamondbacks, no run first inning. It wasn't crazy juice. I don't like taking juice Nerfies, but I do think a gallon, 9-2 on no run first inning has been very, very solid. The Rockies, 25th in first inning runs. A team that struggles to get out of the gates. They might get up some runs on Gallon. That's we've seen him have some bad starts, but normally pretty good through the first time through the order. Then you look at Kyle Freeland on the other side, 8-3, already went through and had a pretty good start against this Arizona Diamondbacks team before. Diamondbacks, another team with a lot of very good batting averages, but still 24th in first inning runs. So I think you might hopefully get 6 quick outs. We can cash the no run first inning in this one. I think it's a good look.
What was the odds on that?
That was -105 this morning. I don't know what it is right now, but I imagine around there.
Yeah. And Jay has entered the chat. I thought Jay was going to be in hiding after that Celtics loss last night. So I'm glad to see you out and about, buddy. He came on a video the other night, was talking about how the Celtics were going to win. It was a tough one for him. Let's cruise on to the next game. Oh man, I have all this set up for 2 people instead of 3. All right, so Atlanta at Oakland, and I like Prop Beaver's pick a lot better than mine. I'm putting mine on there, and I'm sticking to it. I like Atlanta -1.5, but it's juiced heavy. I think it's at -135 if you line shop. It might even be at -140 on most books. Ooh, Atlanta -1.5. And I mean, I feel like the reasoning for this bet are pretty obvious. Like, everyone knows what I'm about to say. Do you really expect the Oakland Athletics to beat Atlanta twice in a row? I mean, Atlanta suffering from a classic case of Sunday Night Baseball hangover. That shit is real. Now here they are with Bryce Elder on the mound. I mean, they should kill him, right? That's obviously the short and sweet reasoning for this bet. Even if Oakland's able to get to Bryce Elder a little bit, once you hit the 6th inning or later, the Braves bullpen is just so much better than Oakland's bullpen. Everyone's bullpen is so much better than Oakland's bullpen. So that's my bet. But actually, if you have a sports bet that offers Prop Beaver's bet, I think there's better value on that. So go ahead.
Yeah, I was talking to Kyle, I think it was yesterday, and I was like, dude, we've played the A's sharp, I think, like 2 or 3 times over the last 2 weeks. Let's just play the opposing pitcher to record a win. What are we doing here? Last 8 and 9 starting pitchers to face Oakland have recorded a win. Last 9 and 12 righties to face Oakland have recorded a win. A's bats own a 48 WRC plus against right-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks. That's 30th in the league. That implies they are 52% worse than the league average in a lineup against righties. Couldn't be worse. Braves own 150 WRC plus against lefties on the season. That's good for second best in baseball. Want to know what the last 5 lefties to face Atlanta have looked like combined? 10 plus ERA and are allowing 4.2 home runs per 9. They're getting absolutely cranked into a different century. I do like JP Sears. I respect him. I think he's going to have a nice career ahead of him. But at the very same time, his barrel rate is one of the highest in baseball. And with the way Atlanta's smashing lefties, I just don't anticipate him having a great game here. I've complained about Bryce Elder in the past, saying, oh, he's due for regression. Those StatCast numbers. The dude just goes out and deals every time. I'm done fading him. Add in that huge bullpen advantage for Atlanta. I'm not going to overthink it. It's at plus 115, plus 120 on some books. Yeah, not going to overthink it. If it loses, it loses. Then I'll be right about that scrub Bryce Elder. But
As for my play, this is my Dinger Tuesday play. It's Ozzy Albies to hit a home run at plus 430. I don't know if other books had better value, but that's what it is on FanDuel, where you can take advantage of that promo. Now, Albies a very weird guy. If you're batting him against righties, good luck, because he's batting 171 against right-handed pitchers. He does have 5 home runs and 146 at-bats versus righties. Tonight, against JP Sears, a lefty, where he has 5 home runs and only 62 at-bats, batting 452 versus left-handed pitchers. So he's absolutely crushing lefties. You look at Sears, a guy that's given up 12 home runs this year. Weirdly enough, all 12 were to right-handed batters. Albies is a guy that can switch hit, so hopefully he goes up righty. But either way, I think he can put one into the bleachers. I think a lot of people are going to be on, Matt Olson, Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna, all those guys. But I think Albies has a good chance. I know he's only 5'8", 165, but he has 10 homers on the year, and I think he's making it 11 tonight.
We need to start, because we always forget about Dinger Tuesday, and then people always ask in the comments, are always like, shit, we forgot to look again. We need to
yeah, as do we, but we remember. We tried our best to remember.
Yeah, I gotta put it in my calendar or something.
I feel like a disappointment and a pig not preparing some dingers for these fellas.
You guys got to be better.
It's true.
Yeah, but when Proppy was here last night, and when he was telling me, I was like, wait, hold up. You mean to tell me that 8 of the last 9 starting pitchers have recorded a win, 9 of the last 12 righties, and they're giving us that plus 120? It's like, it was just a no-brainer. Like, yeah, I'm taking that. All right, so, the graphics got messed up for this one. It's Yankees at Mariners. We're going to rock this one with no graphics, I guess, which sucks because I like this one. I really, really like Seattle here. Was that minus 137 or something like that? You could also play Seattle first 5 run line. Let me delete your guys' picks off. So, all right, so I'm on Seattle. I'm fading the Yankees here, and I know that it's a bit scary because it does seem like New York's bats are heating up for sure. Yankees are 8th in OPS versus right-handed pitching in the last 14 days. They scored 20 runs in their last 2 games. Definitely a reason to worry. It looks like the Yankees bats are coming back to life. But Logan Gilbert, he's cool as a cucumber, man. And I literally wrote those words down in my notes. Cool as a cucumber. This dude has shown us that he can be trusted to pitch against dangerous lineups. And in his last 4 starts, we've seen him pitch solid games against the Rangers and the Braves. Logan Gilbert's also much more comfortable at home. He's got a 3.04 ERA at home. Opponents are batting. Now get this. I like these average numbers. Opponents are batting just 160 against Gilbert in Seattle compared to 238 on the road. So a batter's just hitting 160 off Gilbert at home, and it gets even more legit against right-handed bats. Righties are hitting just 132 off Logan Gilbert in Seattle so far this season. That's excellent. And then it gets even deeper because what do we know about the Yankees? They're a righty-heavy lineup, right? A lot of right-handed bats in there. In fact, the only real threat left-handed bat in the Yankees lineup is Anthony Rizzo. He's not even playing tonight. He left the game last night early. I just read an article. He's ruled out, not playing. So the Yankees' most dangerous left-handed bat isn't even in the lineup. I really think the table is set for Logan Gilbert to throw a great game tonight. The only thing that's keeping me from laying the house on Seattle here is I really don't trust the Mariners bats. I haven't trusted them all season. Certainly don't trust them against left-handed pitching. And we know Nestor Cortez is capable of throwing a gem. But what do we know about Nestor Cortez? He's a lot more reliable at home in Yankee Stadium than he is on the road. In his 4 road starts this year, Nestor's got a 6.00 ERA. That's this season. And it was the same story with Nestor last season. Not quite a 6. It was like a 3.1 something, but still was significantly higher than his ERA at home. And then you add on the fact that the Mariners bullpen has been excellent recently, certainly outperforming the Yankees bullpen, and it's better rested tonight. I think this price is juiced towards the Mariners. I think the Mariners are favored here for a solid reason. I think odds makers like their angle here, and I'm playing it with them. I'm laying the juice. Again, 2 in one night. Marlins minus 135, Seattle minus 137. Very unlike me, but I really do like it.
Yeah, so I know Austin's got to dip out of here soon, so I'm not going to try and waste too much of his time here. Only really thing I wanted to add is that Seattle against lefties at home has been a lot better than they have been on the road. And I don't have the rank in front of me because FanGraphs is taking forever right now, but while I don't normally trust Seattle against lefties, they have history against Cortez. They have pretty decent numbers lifetime against him. And I think it's worth laying that juice with Gilbert against a very righty-heavy lineup. I'm high on Gilbert, and I think he should excel in this spot. None of the high-leverage arms went for Seattle yesterday either, so that's a nice little edge we got there. So, yeah, Seattle.
Yeah, my meeting got moved back, so I'm here all day with you fellas. But this is either a pass or the under for me. I think Cortez is due for a pretty decent start, and like Kyle touched on, this is the Mariners team that I don't trust a whole lot versus lefties. The only guy I really trust is Ty France tonight, and he's in my hit parlay with Spencer Steer. Those are my two hitters. I think Ty France can do something, but J.P. Crawford, guy that struggled versus lefties. J-Rod's been good. Kellenick's been pretty good against lefties, but I just don't know if it's kind of very similar to that Mariners-Padres game that Kyle kind of touched on, that he took Marlins game earlier that we talked about, Marlins-Padres. Just I don't want to bet a juiced home favorite here, but I also don't think they hand out plus money on the Yankees ever. So I just don't. This is just kind of a pass on me. I think this is a lower scoring game, maybe like a 4-3 final score. Maybe you need some runs in the bottom of the eighth for some kind of win for the Mariners, but I'd rather just pass altogether.
Sounds good. And I actually got the graphics working, so I just had to refresh the page. So graphics are back. So let's move on to, we got 2 games left. And next, hold on, let me refresh the graphics, see if that little trick works again. What happened was I forgot to set the stream up for 3 people, and I had to do it last minute. Kind of threw me off. And also, like I said, there we go. Pirates at Giants. Nice. Fix the graphics just to tell you I hate this game. So I put down Giants or pass. Definitely not going to bet this. If you put a gun to my head and said make a pick, I'd say Giants, but at this price, minus 150, no way. I don't trust Johan Oviedo at all. Certainly don't trust him on the road in San Francisco. Giants lineup has been sneaky good, like flying under the radar, decent against right-handed pitching for most of the season. In fact, there was a chunk early in the season where they were chilling in the top 10 against righties for consistently. I think in the last 7 days, they're up to like 8th, so maybe they're heating up against righties, but certainly haven't sold me enough to lay minus 150 anything. So Giants are pass, but heavy on the pass.
I wish we were getting this at like minus 130. I wouldn't even care that it's a bullpen day. The Giants are just playing some excellent baseball right now, but we don't live in that reality. We live in a reality where John Brebbia is opening the game, a guy who I trust with zero bones in my body. And I know the Giants bullpen has been playing better lately. I just don't like back in bullpen days unless they're the Rays, I guess, of last year, because that Rays bullpen this year has been horrendous. Yeah, I just don't see much value on either side. The Pirates bats essentially have had one good game in like the last 2 weeks. They lit up George Kirby, otherwise have been dead as dirt. So just going to pass here.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm full pass. This is a Giants team that I just, similar to a couple other teams in the league, I just can't get a good read on which version shows up. They're coming back from, a road trip. I just don't want to touch this team. And then the Pirates are a team that could score 8 runs, could score 0. It's just kind of both weird teams. So I'll just pass. It's just not a game I really want to touch.
Yeah, it seems like we all are on the same page there. I didn't even want to open up like any numbers for it. I looked at it. I was just like, oh, I don't like the look of that. Oh wow, okay, so let's get this back. Here we go, and then let's do a refresh page, and that should fix this. Boom, there we are. That's at Dodgers. Tell me, I haven't even talked to Prop Beaver about this game really. So tell me you all just are so tempted to take Washington at this price. Like, I want it bad. I've actually cashed a good amount of bets with Washington recently. I think they're 14-13 of their last 27 games, so they've been consistently 500, slightly above 500, and they're always priced like a bottom 3 MLB team. That being said, there's just no way. There's no way. What I did do was Dodgers team total over 5.5, minus 105 on DraftKings. You know what? We did talk about this game. We had this conversation right before we went live. So Dodgers team total over 5.5. This poor guy, Jake Irvin, might be in for it today. He's been getting hammered recently, and now he goes to LA to pitch against the Dodgers, a team that's just absolutely murders anybody, let alone right-handed pitching at home. Jake Irvin might really need to regroup mentally after this game. I think they score 8. I think Prop Beaver told me that his last 3 starts, the opponent scored 8 or more in all 3 or something like that. So yeah, Dodgers team total over.
Yeah, I feel bad for my buddy Jake Irvin. He came out of nowhere. He had 2 great starts out of nowhere. And I was like, wow, maybe Jake Irvin is going to be this young stud that we could just get at a nice value. Last 3 games have been a complete and utter disaster class. Just getting rocked pretty much every single time. Yes, he only allowed 2 runs to the Padres, but he walked 4 guys. He only made it 4 innings, and then he gave way to a Nationals bullpen that has been utterly atrocious pretty much the entire year. I don't trust a single high leverage arm in that pen. And as Kyle said, I mean, Irvin's last 3 opponents, all 3 of them hit A+ runs, including that San Diego lineup that I was trashing earlier. This is the Dodgers. They're at home. I think that they should comfortably beat the life out of them, and in the process of doing so, cover this line. So at the low vig, I know it's a high number, but I think it's worth it here in this spot.
Yeah, I hate passing on so many games, but I can't take a team total at 5.5. It just I've never had a good track record with it. Just feels like super high of a line. I like to stick to the 3.5, 4.5 kind of range. You're right, Irvin's been bad. There's I mean, you look at the lines, or you're getting Nationals at +2.5, not too juiced, which is crazy. So I rather just avoid this game altogether. It's also the late night game, and I imagine everyone will lose money on the early slate for something with the Dodgers involved in the late slate. I can't do it. I just can't. I have to pass it. If I had to take anything, it would probably be the under in the full game, just because I don't think Dodgers are a no sweat bet. But maybe that is maybe the Dodgers score late for you guys. But I just got to pass on the over 5.5 team total.
Yeah, I mean, look, this number is crazy. -380 it opened up at. That's just wild. Actually, there's some people in the comments saying Dodgers -2.5. So yeah, people are still laying that with the Dodgers. God bless them.
Yeah, I see someone says Gonsolin to record a win. I don't hate that as like a pivot if you want to go with that. I know those to record a wins bets can be a little bit fluky because a guy could get pulled early via injury. But I imagine the Dodgers' first 5 money line is probably very juiced too. So if I were to do anything, it would be Gonsolin to record a win if it's not too juiced. But yeah, I just don't want to touch it.
Wasn't Gonsolin though? Wasn't he not going deep into games, or has he started going deep now? When he first came back. Property, where you looked at his game logs when he first came back, he was only pitching like 4 innings, 5 innings. I wonder if that's changed.
Yeah, last 4 starts, 6 or more. Well, 5 innings pitched or more. So he's been getting there. But yeah, you're right. The first couple starts, he was kind of limited to 3 and then 4 innings.
Yeah, I mean, Gonsolin to record a win at +100 does sound good. Not gonna lie. All right, so that's the last game. Now we do the community parlay, which never hits. But you have Prop Beaver? Austin, you guys have any parlays you want to give out before we do the community parlay?
My only parlay is my hit parlay, which I've done really well on them so far. I think we've hit 4 or 5 in a row. It's Spencer Steer of the Reds and then Ty France of the Mariners to both record a hit. Kind of talked about each of them both. You got Steer. He's hitting really well against Bello, however you pronounce his name. His pitches. He's batting 6th in the lineup, which I normally like him up higher, but I do like his splits versus Bello. I think they get enough hits up on that game. Obviously, we talked about it earlier. It's like a 9.5 or 10 total. You guys like the Reds. I think it's a close game. I think he sees plate appearances. Been pretty good. And then Ty France, another guy, really good splits against Nestor Cortez's top pitches. Doesn't hit well against sliders and sinkers, but Cortez doesn't throw those. Been really good at home so far this year too. So I think both of them, I think that was +125 on FanDuel. Forgot to give you the odds. I haven't seen France confirmed in the lineup yet, but I imagine he is out there. So I really like those 2 guys to get hits.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, my parlay would just be my 3 strikeout props that I played today. Normally I do the alt lines with these, but I don't know. Today I'm feeling really good about these. Give me Faedo 5+ Ks. Give me Kikuchi 6+ Ks, and give me Suarez under 4.5 Ks for +453. Obviously, if you want to play it a bit safer, bump Faedo down to 4+, Kikuchi down to 5+. Those guys have better hit rates, but they don't have that much a better hit rate. So I'm willing to just play it at their actual lines with that nice juice. Under 4.5, 453.
All right, so there's Austin's hit parlay, Prop Beaver's strikeout parlay. I'm taking them off the screen. So if you're telling them, write them down now. Faedo 5+, Kikuchi 6+, Suarez under 4.5. Austin's is Steer in France, both to record a hit +125. All right, Let's move to the community parlay. And to answer, yes, it has hit before. Someone said the community parlay has hit before. Yes, I think it's hit 2 or 3 times. It's just we do it every day and it rarely hits. How about that? So everyone, if you know the drill, throw your favorite parlay leg into the comments and we'll build a parlay together and we will lose our money together. Tampa run line, Atlanta. Okay, so Tampa run line we'll put. We usually don't do run lines in the community parlay, but we'll see. Mets money line community. So Mets money line. Come on through comments. Whoa, all right, they're coming fast. Astros money line, Tigers money line, and Braves money line. And we'll get rid of the Rays -1.5 because we usually just try to stick to the money line. So you ready? You got the book open?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing them now. Yeah, I got
Mets, Astros, Tigers, Braves.
I can see the screen.
All right. Can you see the screen? Because it looks like you're struggling.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this should definitely hit. Plus 36, 34. Those are our odds today.
We got to drop a leg out. We can't. No way. We got to drop one.
Dude, it's positive EV. Just play it.
All right. Which one should we drop out here?
Tigers.
All right, let's lose the Tigers. New odds?
Tigers are not a team you put in a parlay and feel happy.
That is true.
Get out of here.
All right, what's the new odds?
Plus 667.
I can live with that. So there's the community parlay. Mets money line, Astros money line, Braves money line at plus 667. Let's cash one. It's been like a week and a half since we hit one of these. We're due. We're due. So yeah, that's it. Austin, thanks for. His Twitter is right underneath, calling our shot. But chances are you probably all follow him because he has a billion followers. You probably already subscribe to his YouTube channel, but if you don't, you should. He puts out a video. I think he puts out 2 every morning, right?
Yeah, well, with the NBA normally too, but yeah, you know where to find me. At Calling a Shot everywhere. That community parlay is hitting now, so take that to the bank. It's a smacker.
It's a lock, Proppy said. All right, cool.
Honestly, I'm surprised it's plus 667. It should be Dodgers money line minus 380. That baby's hitting.
Absolute lock. All right, everyone, remember to bet responsibly tonight. Let's pull in some units. Let's have ourselves a green night. And then me and Proppy will be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. For Getaway Day. We do the Wednesday morning show. So, Austin, hope to have you back soon. I'll text you. We'll try to plan it again. And yeah, so everyone have a good night.
Yeah, thank you boys for having me.